GOM EXP. All right, over here in the bottom left, in the blue, we have our Terran player.
Bbyong.
For CJ Intis, as that camera angle pointed out. And, of course, his opponent over here in the red for Axiom.
Impact.
Got,
Oh, look at that keyboard.
yeah, they're...
That pink and green, is that a... I guess if it was red and green, it could be Christmas colors, but pink and green, I don't know what that would go with.
That's like early Valentine's in December. Around Christmas time.
Around
I also
Christmas
got you
time?
some Valentine's chocolates.
Did you ever, did they have those, when you were a kid, those candies with the little hearts that
Things
said,
like Be Mine and stuff. And
be
like,
mine, or
you
it's-
are too
yes,
cute.
Yes,
Yes.
kiss me.
Kiss me. They need to have
In
like,
retrospect, I think those things tasted like chalk, but
they definitely did.
at the time I didn't know. I'm like, oh my God, what does this one say? Did you ever give one of those to a girl, to a grill? If we're like Twitch chat, to a grill?
Yeah, I gave some to grills before.
Yeah.
I gave some to some boys too, much to their, they were like, wow, why are you giving me the one that says Be Mine? And they're a little bit insecure about it, but I'm like, I'm just trying to share candy with you. Those are just words, man.
I was asking Artosis a little while back about did they do the thing in your elementary school? I don't know if they do this outside the state.
I think I watched your cast where you asked about this. But
The shoe box.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
You cut the slice in.
yeah, and you just like write a generic card to everybody except like the people that you do like, you know.
Yeah,
and
then you pick out that one that's got like Aladdin and Jasmine and stuff on the mountain or whatever.
I had a Star Wars one of that, that had like 30 cards or whatever.
Oh my God! Of course you had the Star Wars one.
Right, so I was like, well, I don't know. That one girl I don't really like, she can have the one that has Jabba the Hutt, but
Yeah,
but the one
that's
that
so funny. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, well, she can have, I guess, C-3PO. This one is this is a neutered card here. This doesn't mean anything.
But unfortunately, like at the end of all things, there was a lack of male cards. So I'm like, well, I don't know. I have to give Peter also the other Leia card I have.
I guess I'm actually gonna give my friend Tom, Han Solo here, but my friend Jay also. I guess you can have Chewbacca. I'm out of Han Solo cards here. Dude, I wonder how much of our audience actually knows what we're talking about, because I don't know if all other countries celebrate within the school curriculum Valentine's Day. And when you think about it, actually, it is totally weird that schools would ever celebrate Valentine's Day, like elementary schools.
Right. I mean,
it's actually...
I don't know. Like,
not exactly the period of romance. It's like the period of puberty and
right.
other things.
That's kind of just like, I don't know, that kid, I don't really like him. He smells funny. Like that's just going through your
That's
head.
when I liked a girl. I'd have to rub dirt in her hair or something. Show her I cared. Okay, so oh my God, that was a last second move there. Anyways, back into this game, we got a Reaper Scout here.
Yeah, that's an aggressive scout. Reaper Scout's like the most dangerous type of scout.
It is.
He's like, I'm going to check you out, and if you're not perfect with your micro, I'm also going to kill you.
All right, the command center is coming down here now in the back of the base. Zergs, a lot of them do like to take this expansion out here in the front because it makes the third base just very safe and easy to expand to. There are different variations of how to play on this map, but due to the distance here, especially in cross spots, taking the exterior natural is actually a good idea for the Zerg.
Yeah, it's just better that way because if you think about it, on a normal map, you can get your natural up. It's the same distance away from your main base. And if you can secure the natural, then your third base is basically like a free base.
Yeah.
If you do it in the opposite order, then you don't, you hide a base and you get that for free, but you can already pretty much defend your natural, so why do it in that order?
The Reaper has been put at the outside perimeter of the Zerg base. We have the third now coming down here, which cannot be contested by that Reaper. And it looks like we're going to go into Hellion Banshee.
Yeah, getting a little bit more popular these days. And with the buff to Cloak, it's a little bit easier, a little bit cheaper to get that Cloak research out. Just a little bit less gas. And Overlord speed, actually, on a map like this, you absolutely need it. First of all, to scout what your opponent's doing. And then second of all, it's really useful, especially against a player who loves those early burrowed Widow Mines, the burrow upgrade. You just need to have Overseers of speed to actually identify where they are and to pick them off so much faster.
The Hellions are coming up here now. Oh, looks like the Reaper almost got cornered there.
Nice. That was a great clean block there.
Yeah, that was. Considering they had to hurry over there like that.
Yeah.
He did get the Reaper. No, he did not. Excuse me. This Reaper remains here. And I was wow, killed in midair there.
You like grabbed his shoe while he was trying to jump up.
So the Banshee's now coming out here. The Hellions have now come in here to the main, but this means the Banshee should be overall less effective. Normally the Banshee with the Hellions is a pretty good pair.
Yeah, he doesn't really get anything done with these
not
Hellions. Really. Doesn't even kill that line of weak Zerglings. And the cross spawns here makes it so long for the Banshee to fly that I just don't see a lot of damage being done here. Unfortunately, the lair's not quite done, and he has spores started. We'll see if the Banshee can find a sweet spot where the spores don't quite grant vision. Either that or, don't actually hit, and so he can pick off any area where there's no queen available. Yeah, it looks like it's actually fine here if he moves a queen over.
Okay, the Banshee's now coming up. It is denying at least these 5 patches here from being mined from effectively. Although he hasn't gotten any kills just yet. Oh my god, that was some snap.
Yeah, he's going to lose it anyways, I think.
You kill a drone in 2 hits, so he just gets a hit at once and says, well, I can't get out of here in time. I guess I have to make a spore crawler.
It's like burrowing your head under the ground like an ostrich, man.
Now we have the Banshee actually not doing a good amount of damage. Queen not being moved up just yet, but the Spore Crawler's almost done. He could probably get 1 more kill off on a drone before that Spore Crawler finishes, then he'll have to get out of there.
Yeah, he's actually, not done too much damage, but the worker count is still pretty good for Bbyong. Comparatively, he's just a few harvesters down, which is pretty good as a Terran. He's adding a ton of barracks right now to make up for the lack of production he had earlier. And 2 Banshees can one-shot a drone, so as long as his control is good here and he can kind of skirt around that Spore Crawler, he's definitely going to get some damage done.
Banshee's now backing off.
And he's actually going to find a drone here if he targets
it. Oh, wow.
it.
Okay. Wasn't quite babysitting that. Okay, you know what? These Banshees actually did a lot more damage than I expected them to. I thought, yeah, as you said, Wolf, due to the travel distance there, maybe the Zerg would be prepared. But no, he's doing a great job with this. The Overseer's out now, and that's why he's trying to split those Banshees up to keep at least one somewhere where he might be able to surprise the Zerg. That's not a bad spot to park that Banshee over there.
Yeah.
At the upper right. Maybe when the Zerg moves out later on, he can send that Banshee back over there. In the midst of a battle, it could get a bunch of kills. Meanwhile, back here at the Terran's base, 1-1 is about halfway done. And he hasn't taken his 3rd just yet. The Zerg is getting the Spire. And we'll probably just see, 1-1 for Lings. The air attack upgraded for the Mutas as he just gets this big Mutaball and tries to control the Terran from getting too far out on the map.
Yeah, I really share your sentiment about the Banshees, and sometimes with the Hellions, you can actually damage a queen so much that you kill the queen, that there's no queens over there, then you just do a tremendous amount of damage. But in this case, he made the best of a tough situation and just was able to take advantage of a little bit of a late lair timing. And without Mutas on the map, I think he can save this one Banshee. It's been, totally stalked by this Overseer. What a creepy guy, man. A guy with all his eyes. This guy's checking me out with over 12 eyes and makes it all the more strange.
I always wonder what that would be like to have more than 2 eyes.
Yeah.
How many eyes does a spider have?
8, I think.
Does it have 8?
I believe so. Might have actually no, it's got 8 legs, maybe 12 eyes.
That's what I was thinking. I thought it was 8 legs.
Yeah, maybe it's
I'm not
12
sure,
eyes.
but I always wonder how the brain would process that. Like when you see a chameleon looking around.
Or a fly. It's got all those, and it's not eyes, but all the lenses. It's really complicated.
It's really weird.
Oh, wow, he's not.
All right, nice counterattack here. Now, there's nothing here to babysit this expansion. Even if the bunker were done, there's no Marines there.
Yeah, it's
Meanwhile, Terran's continuing to push forward right now. Now, here's the question is did one of these 2 players, in fact, overextend right now? Terran's going to keep pushing forward. This is a pretty long travel distance. The same rule for the Banshees and Hellions applies to these Banshees and Marines and Widow Mines here.
Don't forget that 1-1 is done here, and there's no 1-1 for the Zerg just yet. So he's got a huge upgrade advantage. No Baneling speed. Mutas come over here with a flank, but it looks like he's just barely going to be able to push this back, even with the Hellions here. Not quite enough. Might be able to lift up that one Hellion. Nicely done. But yeah, the funny thing about this is we saw a really similar situation in the previous game where he just didn't have the units ready for the bunker at his 3rd base, and Impact shows that he has this little timing where he can go over and try to punish for that. But I like the position a lot for Bbyong right now because the worker count is still pretty even. Not only was he ahead in upgrades for that long period of time, but once Impact catches up with 1-1, he's about to have 2-2 to follow that up, so he's going to keep that 1 step ahead in upgrades, and that's really, really painful for Impact every single time they engage.
Well, he's going to try to push out here again. The Lings are ready to counterattack. That's one problem with this map specifically is, unlike even the last map, you can always go around their army. I mean, there's such a large area, and there's really no way for Terran to have all that scouted out here. Looks like the medevac drop is going to get denied here. Now, this is a nice little escape maneuver. He's going to lose the Marines, but keep the medevac.
Good scan here. Actually reveals a lot of tumors.
Gotta say, Bbyong's doing a very good job of pushing the creep tumors, considering we're like way into Zerg territory. We're like way past the halfway marker. If we were to cut this map diagonally from top left to bottom right, Terran's way in that area.
Yeah. This bunker is going to tank a lot here, and there's enough Marauders to actually kill the rest of the Banelings. Zerglings get cleaned up easily, and he's always got a bit of a lack of Banelings this game. He's got to keep making those. The upgrades continuing constantly for Bbyong, not missing a second on that +3, and the +2 armor is nearly done. He's also continuing to get that plating. It helps his medevacs out, helps his Widow Mine. Such a great upgrade to get. I'm really glad we're seeing that more and more often these days.
Nice pickup there. I was going to say not enough mutas, but they drop down from the top of the screen.
Yep.
He's continuing to drive him back, and it's funny because this game actually looks a bit similar to game number 1 between these two guys, where we saw Bbyong splitting up his army, and through most of that game I was saying, well, gosh, he doesn't seem to have any muscle here. But he did whittle down impact in the last game, and these travel distances are almost the same. A drop over here, I think it's already starting to happen, Wolf.
Yeah, it's starting to, man. And those drones lining up, he gets quite a few kills. And, I mean, he's still not – it's not like he's put the Zerg at a huge problem with his harvesters. He still has 71 of them. But it's just that whittling down that you're talking about. I really like that description because it's a very accurate way to describe what's happening in this game. And the mutas have +1, but the medevacs have the +1 plating to counteract that. Still has this one Widow Mine here. How much actually does it get done? I think a lot. Yeah, 9 kills there. Definitely worth it. And when +3 finishes, the lair hasn't been transformed into a hive yet because it doesn't have an infestation pit yet. After the infestation pit finishes, then he has to wait until the hive is completely completed. And he doesn't even have +2 armor yet, so the Lings are always going to be at a huge upgraded disadvantage for, at least, I would say, 6 more minutes or so in this game.
Well, we see the sensor towers over here. That's going to tip off his opponent. The mutas are now coming into this area.
He's totally ready for it.
Yeah,
2 Widow Mines here.
Completely ready. In fact, yeah. Oh my God, that even actually connected. Nice. Okay, so the drop over here happening in the back of the base, and he's also, he's going to drop in the main as well, while pushing with the small force over here at the 4th. The supplies are virtually even. The question is all really about positioning at this point in time.
Yeah, this is, I mean, he's again got these tiny little armies moving out.
You know what he's really able to do here is while all these drops are going on. Yes, the Lings are pretty much in control of the ground, but the mutas can't be everywhere in the air. Normally, we don't see mutas splitting very much in StarCraft II. Normally, you have them all on one hotkey and you're chasing everything around. There are points in time where the Zerg has been having a hard time keeping up with these medevacs, although I would say in that last engagement, he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I would say so.
But yeah, throughout this series, we've seen that Bbyong's really taken advantage of the fact that's annoying, by the way.
Killing his larva.
Yeah. Bbyong has really taken advantage of the fact that the mutas might not be everywhere at once, and due to the large expanse of this map, he's just going to drop here, there, and everywhere. And if he does get an engagement that he feels is not favorable towards him, he's going to pick up and leave. And that Widow Mine is still there, by the way, at the 4th.
Yeah, if Bbyong was playing Street Fighter right now, man, as Ryu, he'd just be playing that chip damage. I'm just going to keep doing Hadokens until eventually I kill you.
Yeah, man.
He's just sitting back in the corner, just doing that little bit of damage.
Hopefully Bbyong's not that other kid, or wait, excuse me, Impact's not that other kid on the other side who doesn't know how to do the fireball.
Yeah. He
keeps there jumping in the air and punching.
He's just trying to figure out, he's like, this isn't fair. How do you keep doing that? I don't even know how to do that. Well, I mean, this could actually do a little bit. Not quite able to connect there. A little trick you can do. Well, hold that.
Oh,
a lot of mutas going down.
You got to be careful there.
I was just going to say, a trick you can do with your SCVs, if you lose a bunch of hit points on them, but none of them dies, you can just set one SCV to auto repair, and he'll just run around repairing the SCVs. It takes a long time, but you can't get your SCVs back at full health that way.
We do have Terran now moving on over here towards the 5th, and again, using that medevac there to maybe draw the other player out. In fact, again, Bbyong going for this harass style. We just don't normally see this on this map as much, but he's making it work, so I can't really judge. Now, the mute amount, I want to say, is in the mid-20s. Is this correct?
26, yeah.
26. Okay, there it is. So one of the problems right now for Bbyong is that once the mutas get there, no matter what, they win the fight, especially with Terran spread out like this. And this is being highlighted right here in this battle now.
Yeah. Well, the gas bank is non-existent really for Impact now that he's starting these Ultralisks. And on a map like this, actually, with the way the creep spread is, I don't know how much I like the Ultralisks, because off creep, especially once they're scouted, he just has to switch into more Marauders, which he already has a decent amount of Marauders in his composition. And Widow Mines are great against Ultralisks because they ignore armor. I feel like it's pretty easy to deal with those Ultras. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, he could just spread against them and target with his Marauders, and he's got Widow Mines.
But one problem when you're spreading out your army like this is that you can take such a large amount of losses that it can be really tough to recover from. In this case, though, Bbyong's done a very good job. He's actually still maxed out. He's just now taken his 4th, so he was staying heavy on 30 bases for a while. Zerg's up to his 5th here. I think we might be in this game for a long time, Wolf. I think this is going to be a pretty epic battle.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, Infestors coming out with the Ultras I do like, because if you fungal the army, there's no kiting to be had. There's no spreading. This army is ready to do some work over here. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks are getting some harassment done. And he might identify this and try to go for a big drop. This is pretty crazy what he's trying to do here. That's like 10 Widow Mines or so just trying to get into position. And they do actually get into position. How many of them connect on those Ultras? A lot. But no way out.
Yeah, again, losing a lot of Widow Mines there.
Well, that
Ultralisk. Don't try to be a hero, kids.
That was pretty silly. There's one Widow Mine actually killed by drones as well. What are we watching? So
I'm almost wondering, if this is going to last much longer here. For the Zerg with the number of harasses that are coming down here. Where are the mutas, by the way?
I think they were.
I believe they're headed northbound now.
Yeah, I think they should be, right? I mean, they were.
The funny thing is that you would think with this travel distance that there's no way that harass like this would work, right? This is normally like on a tight map. If you're both hugging bottom, then you can just start to outmaneuver the other guy because you can reinforce so quickly, and then medevacs with the speed boost can get there just right away. But with this incredible travel distance, I don't know if this is a testament to Bbyong's absolute brilliance when it comes to army control, or Impact's inability to keep up, or a combination of the two.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We don't normally cast TVZs that look exactly like this. Normally it's a lot more pushing with one medevac coming out, and getting in this one location, or maybe, one or two at a time. But here we just have armies split up all over the place. I don't even know exactly how he's choosing to group them, really.
Something to consider is that on this map, it's because it's so big, there's a lot of places to hide the medevacs. So if you see the mutas are at your base, you can send 3 medevacs over. And once the mutas start coming, you know that because you see the mutas leave your base, and you can spread your medevacs in different locations. It's hard for the mutas to actually predict where you're going to hide with the medevacs.
To bounce an idea off what you just said, it's also funny because as the game goes on, if he keeps pushing out like this, eventually the overlords are all going to be ridden of on the map. With this much stuff going on at once for the Zerg, he's probably not going to have as many spotters to see where the Terran's army is moving out. Maybe that's why this has been so effective, specifically on this map.
Yeah.
Now, he has switched into Ultraling, which would lend itself to making drops possibly stronger as long as the Zerg is not being the offender.
It's true. Well, those Marines were offended. They were attacked and killed there on the main base. And it's like neither player can actually make a whole lot of ground on each other.
Well, this is one problem fundamentally when you get maps this big, is the travel distance is just so huge. And, when you get the best of the best in StarCraft, they're able to recuperate and rebuild very quickly. Now, this battle over here was definitively won by the Zerg, wiping out the 5th base for the Terran. Terran normally don't go to 5 bases, guys, and when they do, it becomes much harder to hang on.
Yeah. Well, the Widow Mines here getting some decent shots, but he doesn't have enough to finish this army off.
He needs more Lings with this army. You can't just have Ultras.
Yeah, and, conversely, Bbyong needs more Marauders. He still has, there they come. He's got 14 on the map, and now they're going to start doing some work here. Plus the Widow Mines. Bungle goes off, but only hits 2 Marauders. It's just so many Ultras here. You know, with 10 Ultras, you can get a whole lot done, especially with that fungal. And he's making it work.
Nice catch there. And he's driving the Terran all the way back to the heart.
Got to be careful about attacking up that ramp with Ultras, though. Or maybe he doesn't with all those mutas.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind the fourth base is also somewhat exposed. Bbyong is still juggling all these different tasks, but you would assume with Ling Ultra, I mean, he just goes in there, wipes it out, picks up, then 1As over to the Terran's expansion.
4 more Queens being added. He's really focused now on getting some extra transfuse energy.
It looks like he's getting Corruptors too, so I think what you might want to do is get a big Broodlord push coming out here. I don't know if I would agree with the Broodlord push on this map at this phase of the game. It actually might not be necessary. I think if Zerg keeps doing what he's doing now, switching between mutas to ultras to mutas to ultras, the Terran is just never going to get a 5th base. It's funny because a lot of times the way the Terran beats the Zerg is by just denying the Zerg his base over and over and over again, and eventually drying the Zerg up. But in this case, now that we're into the end game here, really the Zerg can now focus on the Terran's inability to acquire expansions with ease to just shut him down economically.
Yeah, I mean, you notice he's desperately even lifting his backdoor expansion right now. The thing about the Broodlords is the same reason I talked about the Ultras. It's open spaces. You know, it's good to actually have open space with Ultras because then they don't bunch into each other like when you're trying to attack up a ramp. But
yeah, absolutely.
With no creep, with the spreading, with Widow Mines, it's tough to engage with those. But he's made it work with Infestors. And with Broodlords, I think he's just trying to maybe force Vikings. He's trying to make Bbyong panic a little bit here because he's not committing to too many, only making 5 right now. And that's just going to be annoying. It's going to be a good supplement to the composition no matter which way you look at it, as long as he doesn't overcommit to those. He might force Bbyong to make Vikings or more starports, which is pretty expensive for a Terran player who, like you said, can't really easily acquire that 5th base. He's struggling so much to get it.
Well, these Widow Mines are going to keep this expansion safe for the time being. He'll have to get a lot more heavy-duty units over there if he wants to really wipe that out. Here comes that army now, the Broodlords and the Ultras.
Fungals are key here, and the first one is great, catching all of those Marauders. Also the Widow Mines, several of them going down here. The army supply is dwindling rapidly right now for Bbyong. He only has 7 Marauders, which is not really enough to tackle these Ultras with fungal support. 3 more Ultras on the way. He has a decent amount of Marines. His medevac count, though, isn't quite as high as I think he'd like it to be. He just doesn't have as much army as he should, and his worker count is low, which hurts his economy on a base that already lost so many of its harvesters to that little run-by we saw. I like Impact's chances more and more to take this game.
Yep, Impact is very close to sinking his teeth in here. He's moving towards his 5th base, and as I said before, he just has to wipe out this base. I mean, Terran is going to dry up very quickly economically here, since Terran, of course, has mules, so he could just keep dropping those endlessly to mine out his own bases even faster.
Yeah.
And so he's realized, okay, the expansion's picked up. He's not using it. Let me try to come in here and wipe out whatever's left of this Terran army here now. We might be seeing GG here. There it is.
Yep, there it is. Well called, Tasteless.
Well, we're going to go to game number 3 now. This has been a fantastic series so far. Pretty epic games.
I think Bbyong wants to play on a small map now. You know, he played on the spawn locations he didn't like in game 1. Still try to abuse that with his Hellions. Then in game 2 had a big map counterpicked against him. But because he took that game 1, he gets that very important map 3 pick. And I wonder what he's going to plan with this
I think we could be sure it's not going to be a big map. I mean, considering how well Bbyong did in game number 1 on a big map, and even in game number 2 with his harass, dividing and conquering there, I would assume he should have a pretty straightforward win in game number 3 if he just has a map that's a little bit tighter, that's a little bit easier to control.
I wonder if he'll consider perhaps playing on King Sejong Station. It's a map that's not too big. 3rd base is pretty easy to take. Once you take that 3rd base, you just kind of... It's all about controlling the map in this matchup on that map. And if you just take all of the... all the creep tumors out and just keep attacking, like he's already shown us that he's pretty good at doing, I think you control a Zerg player on that map pretty well. That wouldn't be a bad choice. See Crank is in there talking to Impact, trying to keep him focused going into game 3. And Bbyong is alone.
alone. But I guess we're all alone in this world in the end. Well,
yeah. You know, sometimes it's good to be alone, actually, after a loss. Some people will take that differently.
Sometimes, I know I was one of these people when I was doing Brood Wars. Sometimes when people would talk to me after a match, I'd want to kill them. Or especially in between a match.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Like, there's Smash Bros. Tournaments I played in, or even fencing tournaments. People are like, no, I mean, I think you should do this. I'm like, you don't understand.
Shut up!
Yeah.
Get away from me! Especially when it's somebody that you know more than.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one of those guys?
Oh, yeah. That's the worst, man.
That's when I just want to, like, Mortal Kombat uppercut them. Oh, that's the worst, man. Well, let's see if Bbyong being left alone in his booth is going to be in his best interest here. Our next map is going to be Merry-Go-Round. Yeah,
a 3-player map here. Pretty straightforward map. The rush distance, no matter which way you spawn on it, is equidistant, and it's a fun map. I like it a lot. Don't know how much I like the name, but you know, it does feel fitting, I guess. I just feel like there should be like horses going around.
I think it sounds better in Korean. A merry-go-round is it's not quite the right ring to it. It's funny when you see it, because sometimes when pro gamers make names with an English an ID, I should say, with an English word, it really has a nice ring to it than it doesn't in Korean. It's just funny how that works. We'll talk more about that in our final match between these two players. For now, Bbyong